Hey dudes, how you doing? It's Saint. You might be wondering, hey Saint, well, why isn't your face here? Well, it turns out I'm hungover, and I do not want to show my disastrous appearance online today. So, since I still have an ounce of self-respect, we are going to do this with no face, just some gameplay, but that does not subtract from the awesome news that I have ready for you people today. So, woohoo! Remember to subscribe and like the video if you like this. So, ex-BioWare devs reflect on Mass Effect 3's controversial ending, and it seems like the developers actually have pretty mixed opinions about it. So, this is an article on thegamer.com. I'll leave it below in the description. It just goes along. The article starts with the writer saying that they've spoken to a variety of developers who worked on the Mass Effect trilogy, including several who specifically worked on Mass Effect 3. They asked about the endings, and they've gotten a couple of different responses. For example, Mass Effect 2 and 3 writer Jay Turner said, I mean, it would be easy for me to say I knew it sucked the whole time, but I did have misgivings. By the time that was all set in stone, I was at another EA studio and hearing secondhand from a friend who was still on the project, but what I heard just didn't feel right. When I played the game, I was pretty okay with the ending since I considered the whole of Mass Effect 3 to be the ending for the trilogy, but after I replayed it and realized that my decisions only really changed the color of the explosions in the ending cutscene, I was pretty upset. We also have Mass Effect 3 senior gameplay designer Patrick Morin saying, a good number of the Mass Effect team pushed back against the ending. I remember reading the story beats and getting upset because it felt like all the decisions I made no longer mattered. I sent an email off challenging the ending and received no reply. The Mass Effect team was run like a Navy ship, with strict reporting lines, scopes of responsibility, and team leaders who had been there awaiting their turn for promotion for years and years. You followed orders and tried not to be too squeaky or uppity. The Dragon Age team was definitely more of a pirate ship at the time. Here we have two people that talk about the ending just not seeming right and not feeling right, even though the extended cut was released. There are also writers and people that worked on this project that actually think that the extended cut actually fixed the ending's shortcomings. One of these people would be Mass Effect 2 and 3 writer Chris Hepler. The ending relies on space magic, and the lead writer, lead gameplay designer, and executive producer all just embraced that and owned it from the get-go. Any sufficiently advanced technology and all that. They wanted and got a really big decision that affects the whole galaxy. If you give it a moment's thought, none of the three options are perfectly moral or the right answer for everyone. Destroy may not solve the problem of AI and organics, control rewards the Reapers, even synthesis, which is harder to get than the other two and sounds like it'd be permanent peace, basically violates the entire galaxy's bodily autonomy without consent. So that part, I think, works. Did it satisfy the fans? Not at first, and I found a lot of the criticism to be legitimate. The extended cut gave us a second chance to make an ending that acknowledged many more of the player's choices, and was about as good as we could reasonably make given the decisions we'd already made. I felt a lot better about myself and us as a team after the extended cut came out. Another person who commented on this was Mass Effect 2 and 3 development director Dorian Keegan. I think overall, people did not appreciate how much Mass Effect 3 was the end journey in itself, and how many stories that started in Mass Effect and evolved in Mass Effect 2 were being tied up during the game. Add to that the integration of the first Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 saves, and I think Mass Effect 3 was a great ending in itself. But there are lessons to be learned as well. We often say that the first and last minutes of a game are critical, and this was a great reminder of that. Releasing a DLC that focused on the ending was the right thing to do. When a franchise reaches a certain level of success, it starts to have a life of its own thanks to fans. Star Wars and its expanded universe is a great example of that. When that happens, you need to balance creating original and surprising content with integrating feedback from people who sometimes live and breathe the universe more than you do. And the last person here that commented about this was Mass Effect 3 senior writer Neil Polner. I'll say this. When you've given the player 3 massive games where they've been able to make complex decisions that help to shape their version of the story galaxy character, the prospect of definitively ending such an epic and wide-ranging experience is never going to be able to ring true. There's no way to tightly wrap up something that has been accumulating and branching and growing for so long like that. When you give people deep choice throughout the experience, I think any ending that doesn't allow for an incomprehensible amount of variation is going to disappoint. To my knowledge, most of the team didn't know how Mass Effect 3 was going to end, and as far as I know, the vision for it was not set early on. Okay, to be really honest, what Polner is saying here, to me, it honestly seems like kind of trying to justify the ending, you know? Like, any ending's gonna disappoint. Well, not to the extent that the original Mass Effect 3 ending did. Objectively, Mass Effect isn't the only RPG out there, which means that what this person is saying, Polner, is technically untrue. Yes, obviously, some part of a ending is going to disappoint anyone because everyone wants something different from their game, and it happens in movies, it happens in games, it happens in books, and any shape or form of entertainment. However, you can still reach a good ending without needing to please everyone. When you spend 3 games worth of your time with one specific character, making decisions for that character, doing everything, having Shepard die in that way was a little bit of a turn-off for me. I'm fine with the option of Shepard passing. That's normal. But for example, the breathing scene was really lazy. They could have perfectly made something a little bit more extended to show Shepard with, I don't know, his or her family, you know, doing something else, retiring, whatever. The best ending, ironically, was so short, and I feel that you really put so much time into trying to get it that when you got it, it felt like such a letdown. Because it was like, okay, I spent all this time and the only thing I get is a breathing scene? Like, are you kidding me? My issue was more towards that. They could have given you more closure, you know? You could have known where your romance option ended up, or the closest person to you that maybe isn't your romance option. There's a lot more that could have been done there in terms of properly ending the trilogy. Because imagine you choosing Synthesis and then seeing some of your crew in the future and seeing some kind of an epilogue with your romance option or your closest friend in the crew and how they're living with Synthesis and all that. It would be so much better than just a damn slideshow. It was a PowerPoint presentation. So I kind of can't agree with what this guy is saying that, oh, it's always going to disappoint. Well, dude, yeah, obviously it's always going to disappoint someone, but you don't really want it to disappoint the majority, which was the case when this game came out. I also think it's interesting how Patrick Morin talked about this, particularly because he kind of called BioWare out on their bull, saying that a lot of opinions didn't matter within BioWare. Says a lot about the company and says a lot about why there's such a massive disconnect between what the player wants and what BioWare releases. Why the biggest people in that company aren't there anymore. It's really hard to stay somewhere where your opinion does not matter, when working on your passion becomes getting the quickest product out for the easiest money. It's really sad to see that, yeah, clearly BioWare internally is a fucking mess. And if we go back to Polner, even though I disagree with what he's saying, at the end, he basically said that the vision for the ending was not set early on, which is a very subtle way of saying we had no idea how that game was going to end until the very end, and it sounds like it was rushed. And there has been different rumors that have confirmed that yes, the ending of Mass Effect 3, not only the ending, Mass Effect 3 was rushed. I sincerely hope that Mass Effect 4 is going to be a tribute to the fans, even though I sincerely doubt it. Yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter. I don't really think anything else. I just think that there are some people that unfortunately are pretty disconnected to what the fandom wants, and it kind of sucks. And it also sucks that if you don't agree with what's happening inside a company, it's always becoming more and more common that the company doesn't care. The company just wants the money. They don't give a damn what the little guy says. So that's That's pretty annoying. Let's hope that BioWare changes, man. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I upload videos every single week about tech or gaming. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at Saint Wolven, and also join the pack on Discord. Remember to comment down below what you guys think of these people's responses. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.